G'day and welcome to DoughBoy Gaming and our live stream on American Truck Simulator and the Oregon DLC. A bit of an impromptu stream. We are just going to be testing not only our Twitch and YouTube streaming on Restream, but also we are testing out our 1080p. We've upped it up a little bit. We're not so sure how it's gonna go, so we'll keep a bit of an eye on it and then and see how we go with putting it out there at 1080p instead of 720p. But if we have any problems, please let me know. All right, we're heading in here, pick up our load, and then we're going to head down to I can't remember where we're going to now. Down to California though. Okay. There we go. So we go, yeah, San Diego is our job. There's our trailers. So we'll pick them up nice and quick. Hope everyone is doing well. We are, like I said, very impromptu. We just thought we'd do a quick run. Well, it's not going to be so quick, but do a run and see how the streaming goes. All right, so we're going to leave Bushnell's Farm and Oregon and head south, pretty much down the coast, through to San Diego. Hopefully we'll have a fairly crash-free trip. We will try and obey the law today. I'll wait for this truck to go through. So generally what we'll do is we'll obey the law in most cases. Possibly the only thing we won't be looking at is our speeding, but we'll cross that bridge as we come to it. Hey, Farmer client. No, we haven't crashed yet. I see you're watching on Twitch. How's that looking? Just testing out the Twitch and YouTube and also the 1080 because we're going through Restream. I've got a faster connection to the Sydney Restream server, so we are trying 1080p and just going to see if we can sustain that. If not, then we'll put it back to 720p. Yeah, thanks, mate. Didn't see that red light. That's what I'm going to claim. All right. So now we'll get on the freeway south, and it should be a relatively clear run. Does it? I may have to play with the settings a little bit. And with the Twitch side, I'm learning that entirely. I've not played with Twitch before, So that'll be another learning experience. You're doing a Sunday night stream? Because it'd be late Sunday afternoon, early evening for you, wouldn't it? Yeah, it could be. I am getting a few drop frames on Streamlabs at the moment. I'm at 3%, so that tends to tail off a bit. But I'll just be keeping an eye on that. I tend to get a lot of that because the fact that Streamlabs is transcoding it back down to 1920 by 1080 from 4K. So, but yeah, it seems like it's being a fairly stable drop of about 5% of frames at the moment. So we may have to pare it back a bit more. But we'll have to go back to 720p. That's what I'll do. It's not that much of an issue. I only found out yesterday actually that Virtual Farmer, for instance, he only ever puts his stuff out at 720p. So, which I was surprised at. I didn't realise that. But yeah, I mean, I guess 720p is not too bad, but it's better than nothing. All right, so it's 743 mile down the road to San Diego. So, and I think this was, in fact, I can't even remember how much I was going to get from this job. It certainly wasn't a $100,000 job. I think it was about 50,000. I might cut that a bit fine. I got a lovely day here for a drive. No inclement weather. Looking okay. Commander O, thanks for following. G'day, Si, how are you, buddy? No, it's not Oregon off-road trucking. I haven't got you in chat today, so less distractions. Come on, Dopey, get out of the way. Come on, it might be 55 mile an hour speed limit, but no one sits in the outside lane. Actually, you and Farmer Klein are both tarred with the same brush. The first thing Farmer Klein said when he came into the stream was, have I crashed yet? You're asking if I'm going off-road. That's lovely. So much faith. Come on. All right. Well, we'll cut him off. We'll force him. Didn't touch him. Didn't say a thing. Literally. Alright. So, Si, are you watching on YouTube? Are you both open now? Okay, cool. The drop frames has stabilised. That's dropped back down again. I think it's just the initial wave of getting past that, possibly. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm now showing less than 3.5% drop frame, so that should be stable enough, I would think. But like we say, if this doesn't really work, I mean, for those of you that aren't already aware, we're just sort of testing out two things. We're testing out 1080p streaming. We're also testing out multicasting. We're live on both Twitch and YouTube. Using Restream. Now the advantage with me using Restream, yeah, well, that would probably make sense, Klein. The reason we're using Restream is because it gives me a better upload. I've only got to upload my stream to a local server here in Sydney, and then it restreams to YouTube and Twitch. And the initial testing I did a couple of nights ago seemed to show that I was able to reasonably well sustain 1080p. So we're just going to try it out. If it works okay, that's what we'll do. If not, then we'll just bring it back to 720p and we'll still do the same. It won't be so much of an issue. But if we don't try it, we don't know. We're running low on fuel. There you go. Didn't check my fuel before we left. I got 300 mile left. So I should find a fuel stop between now and then. Does it stutter to the point of it being unwatchable though, Klein? If it's not unwatchable and I can do some more tweaks, we'll sort of persevere and try it. But if it gets to the point where it's just too much, we'll obviously pull ourselves back. Sai is now following on Twitch. Thanks for the follow, mate. No, it's fine. Cool. All right. Well, that's good. That's a positive step. So today we've got a B double on. We've got 2 trailers. We're not using our self-owned or privately owned triples. They're still in the garage. I think they're either at Medford or LA, one of the two. We've done a couple of other loads of late. I've been trying to get some of our logging loads done. However, I've always ended up in the wrong position to get a logging load. We've done one. So the achievements actually go to, I think there's 4 or 5 logging points. And you've got to do some loads to get that achievement. And we haven't quite got there. I have actually got the Beaver State achievement now. We got that, I think it was on Saturday. Where we go to all, I think it's 14 destinations, main or city destinations on Oregon. Farmer Klein's now following. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, so we've got a couple of the achievements out of the way, and the funny part was too, the other night when I was trying to do yeah, I've got more of a delay on Twitch because I've made that got the settings for that is a lower latency, but Got to pull in again. But hopefully a better viewing service. So the chat's more delayed, but anyway. Alright, we'll pull in here and get weighed again. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so as I was trying to do the Oregon achievement for getting all the cities, I took a route and I didn't realise I'd come back down to LA, down to California. And I ended up, by luck, getting the last point for the LA achievement. So I got that one as well. So I was quite happy with that. Now I just have to go back over to Nevada and Arizona. Something about your love of JD, I believe. Oh, jeez. No, I haven't got a love of JD. Alright, really need... there's some fuel just up here. That's wonderful. Timed it perfectly. And I need to have a rest as well. Alright, so we'll do both. Get some fuel, have a rest. Okay, Richard. Richard loves JD. Look, I can't say I hate JD. I've always said I'm not a huge fan of JD. But as I said the other day in the Green Deer live stream, and I've said it in a couple of videos that are coming out hopefully this week, I do like that new 7 series that I've been using, apart from a couple of the glitches in it that's got the real GPS mod in it. And I'm quite happy to use that tractor at the moment. So that's what we're doing. So we'll fill up the tank, which we've done now. We'll go around here and we'll see if we can find a place to pull up and have a rest. Because if you had seen my streaming the other day, when a couple of our friends here were in channel with us in Discord, we made a bit of a mess when we were asleep. A few crashes. So we don't want to do that again. No, well, you got that right, Richard. I can't argue with that. All right. So there's our Bushnell Farms trailers. So I knew what you meant, bud. Actually, I am actually really enjoying, I've said it before, Millennial Farmer's videos. He's in the middle of doing his crop and I think it's soybeans harvest at the moment. And I'm really enjoying his videos. And he uses John Deere. He's got John Deere, so he's got a, what was it, 9870 I think it is, harvester. He's got a couple of John Deere tractors. But he's also got a Challenger on loan from the local dealership for a bit of a trial, and yeah, I'm just enjoying his, just not so much for the fact he's driving JD, but more the fact that just enjoying watching his farming experience, and he presents it very well, very tongue in cheek, and it's quite enjoyable. So if you haven't checked that out, go check him out, Millennial Farmer. But yeah, it's quite enjoyable. There is there is a lot to look at in Oregon. I think it's their best DLC yet, but you'd like to think they're going to get better and better as they go along. I mean, obviously they're going to learn new tricks and new ways of presenting stuff. I think there's a lot more detail in Oregon than there has been in the previous DLCs. But in saying that, I mean, like, I haven't spent a lot of time in the other DLCs though either, admittedly. We bought them and just haven't really sort of spent the time in it. I've been spending all the time in Farming Simulator and 2 Point Hospital or Jurassic World Evolution, Planet Coaster. So I'm probably going to start doing some trips from Oregon to Nevada and Arizona, because we need to explore that area a bit as well. So we'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone sort of thing. I know they're all unhappy, flashing their high beams at me because I've got my high beams on. But you know what? Screw you. Alright, so 480 mile to go. So we're just under halfway. But we're getting there. Sai says, so there are new laws in the States involving the electronic logs. You can't nap like you just did. What do you mean having a short nap? You've got to like have an 8 hours off or something? Is that what you mean? We'll pump our speed up a bit. Don't need to look at the fuel gauge anymore. The only bad thing about night and driving through, well, there's a undiscovered recruitment agency. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's a mandated amount of time. You can't just have a 2-hour sleep, so to speak. So, mind you, when you have a sleep in this, I think it's 6 hours, isn't it? 6 or 8 hours. When you have a rest, it's certainly not 2 hours. Richard says it's mandatory. You have to have 8 hours of rest for every 10 on the road or something like that. It's been a while since I worked with truckers, so I can't recall offhand. Yeah, and look, that's not such a bad thing. Yeah, I can understand some truckers and all that being put out by it and all that sort of stuff. There's a lot that sort of want to maximise their time and all that sort of stuff. But I think at the end of the day, what it all comes down to is safety, not only for the truckers themselves, but all the other users of the road. I mean, we've had a couple of incidents here lately where there's been incidents between trucks and cars, and a lot of it's been caused by fatigue and stuff like that. And I mean, it's just, I mean, these are a rolling death trap for any car. I mean, you're gonna go head on or even up the rear end of another car, and if you're going at full tilt down a highway or a freeway, I mean, yeah, you're lucky to survive it. So I got no qualms with it at all. No problems with it whatsoever. Well, see, I took my eyes off the road, looked at my phone then, and I almost crashed. That's a prime example to the kiddies today, or young kids that are just getting their license. Don't text and drive. Sai says, with some companies, your engine shuts off that amount of time as well. That's interesting. You certainly would hope the engine doesn't shut off, though, as you're driving down the freeway, if you get to your cut-off time. Richard says, I used to work the truck gate at a local plant, and I think that was what one of the truckers told me. Oh, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I'm not so sure what we've got here in Australia now. I can check with our good friend David. He may well know, but he drives some trucks around the country doing some deliveries and stuff occasionally. Yeah, so I don't know what the current rules are here, the legislation here, but I have no qualms with it whatsoever. Well, I've heard horror stories of some truck drivers that drive from one side of Australia to the other without any sleep. I mean, we're talking thousands of miles, and I mean, or kilometres. It's like, well, fine, if you're not only if you're going to put yourself at risk, but you're putting everyone else at risk as well. That's the part that worries me more so than anything else. Richard says, most all trucks at least now have GPS, and if a trucker goes over time, company says truck is still moving They call the trucker up and ask why. Yeah, look, I know that for a fact. My family who run their business, they have the GPS tracking units in the trucks, and they can see exactly that. They see where they're travelling, what speed they're doing, where they've stopped, how long they've stopped for, all that sort of guff. And I suppose an extension of that is, yeah, exactly that. The software would be able to give you an alert saying that the driver has been driving the truck for 8 hours. It's time for them to rest, but they haven't pulled over. All that sort of stuff. And I think as a company, in a way, you're sort of obliged to take those sort of technologies and embrace them, because again, it's a matter of safety of all the road users, and certainly companies don't want to be embroiled in a civil suit where one of their staff, one of their drivers, has done the wrong thing and killed a family or something. So no, I have no problems with that whatsoever. All right, we're getting on down this freeway nicely. No major incidents as of yet, which Farmer Klein and Si would be quite upset with, quite disappointed. And how are those streams going? How's the video going, guys? This is a bit of an update. Whoop. Look at the drop frames. Yeah, see, I'm still getting some frames. In fact, I've got a better upload speed at the moment than what I have normally. Still getting about 4.5%. Okay, cool. Thanks, Richard. Come on, Dopey, get over. Alright, 5:20 AM game time, so it's just starting to lighten up. Be back in daylight very soon. So I can so yesterday was a day in front of the television for me. It was the Bathurst 1000, or Bathurst as it's just anecdotally known here, was run and won. And I'm very pleased to say one of the drivers I've followed for many, many years, and who has some very emotional ties to the mountain in many different ways. Craig Lowndes won the race on the mountain. He became king of the mountain in his retiring year. So he's retiring from full-time driving this year. And it was wonderful to see. David Reynolds, one of the other drivers, he basically was leading the race in the best car, all that sort of stuff. But Lowndes was catching him, and it was going to be on for the young and old for the last 25 laps or so. But unfortunately, David Reynolds suffered fatigue. Oh, you brake testing sod! And unfortunately, he had to basically get to the point where he had to pull into the pits to get some fluid and rehydrate and all that sort of stuff. But then not long thereafter, they actually pulled him back in because he just was copus, not mentis. You could see he was fatigued. He wasn't really thinking straight when they were talking to him on the radio, and all that sort of stuff. Terrible way to bow out. I mean, because he was basically he was leading the race pretty much from start to finish, and the terrible way to lose it. But yeah, anyway, so we're very, very, very glad though that Lowndes ended up winning. Craig Lowndes was mentored by another legend of Australian motorsport, Peter Brock, who sadly passed away driving in a rally a few years ago. And the emotional part with Craig Lowndes is that after Peter died, they renamed and redid the trophy for Bathurst and named it the Peter Brock Trophy. And the first year of the Peter Brock Trophy, Craig Lowndes won Bathurst, which was very good considering Craig had previously driven with Peter, both on the same team, but also with him in the same car, and his father worked with Peter when Peter was driving, all that sort of stuff. So he has very, very close ties to the Brock family, and so he won the first race where the Peter Brock Trophy was up for grabs, and it was quite fitting for him to also win it on his last full-time race. So congratulations to Craig, and also to Stephen Richards, who was his co-driver, and commiserations to David Reynolds and his team. But for Erebus Motorsport, it was fantastic. But yeah, it was a very good race. It was really, really good. Bit of rain sort of threw a bit of a doubt on proceedings there at times, but very, very good race. Okay, Robert, welcome to the stream, my friend. How are you, bud? All right, so we are now 250 miles from our destination. We got a big surge of cash. Our drivers must be pulling in some good money for us. We started this job with $11,000 in the bank because we'd only just hired. Well, we bought a new truck and hired a new driver in one of our garages, and so we're a little bit short of cash, and then we've obviously filled up our fuel tank. But now we're at 101,000. So I would assume that one of our drivers has done a fairly significant job. Now I have set. I think I've got at the moment 5 drivers with their own trucks driving for me, and I've set 3 of them at least to prioritise long hauls. I've prioritised one for dangerous goods, and the other one I've done for high value cargo, I think it was. So splitting them up a little bit, not letting them do their own training. I've sort of prioritised what I want them to do. So yeah, but that's good. If they're making that much money for me, that's good. Robert says he's good, and congrats to Downsy. Yeah, it was a great drive. I mean, taking aside the Reynolds thing, I mean Reynolds' car was phenomenal for all of Bathurst weekend. But Lounsey was just driving the legs off that thing, and certainly on the he was catching Reynolds. There was no doubt about that, even before he sort of had the real problem with his legs sort of cramping up. But the big thing was, like as I said in the commentary last night, and I'm right. Okay, I wasn't looking at the road. The big thing with Lounsey is when that little bit of rain was hitting, he was making 3 to 4 seconds a lap on the leaders when he was a fair way behind still, and that just shows how good of a driver he is. He's phenomenal. He really is. He's been a fantastic driver. He's got a great personality. Yeah, I've always enjoyed watching Craig, apart from when he moved to Ford. But no, he's always been one of my favourite drivers after the loss of Peter. I mean, I've always been a big Brocky fan. Grew up supporting Brocky. May he rest in peace. And then Lounsey came along and sort of filled that gap and sort of followed on. But no, it was a fantastic drive and a fantastic weekend at Bathurst. So it was congratulations to all. It was a really good race. Oh, okay, fair enough. I've actually got to know Peter's son, actually, and believe it or not, in a game. He was in a clan that we were teamed up with, and we got talking there one night, and we were just talking about V8s, and then he said to me a little bit later, in a private message, he told me who he was, and I'm like, really? And then we had some really long chats about it, and yeah, lovely bloke, and but yeah, which it was just amazing. It's amazing. It's quite funny actually who you can meet just gaming as well. But anyway, another story for another time. But yeah. All right, let's stop talking about touring cars. Next year's going to be interesting. No more Falcons. All right, what we got now? 150 miles to go, so we're almost there. I'm not sure how many viewers I've got because I don't know which window to look at. Not that it really matters at the moment. I think we've got... Streamlabs is telling me we've got 6. I know Robert's watching through YouTube. I don't know who's watching through Twitch because I haven't got Twitch up. But anyway, it's all good. I've had people watching on both, which is good. So seems like the video sort of stabilised itself after a while, which is good to know. Well, we're stable at 4.5%. I think we dropped frames, which probably isn't too bad. Twitch says 3. So I got 3 on Twitch. Woo! Creeps like you are on both. Martin McMickens just subscribed. G'day, Martin. Welcome for the, thank you for the sub, mate, and welcome along. Glad to have you aboard. Bit of a madhouse. Not as mad as some, but anyway, glad to have you aboard. Well, the only good thing, Si, is you may be in both to watch, but at least you're not in chat to disturb me and cause me to crash and all that sort of stuff like you did the other night. So that's probably a good thing. Now the next thing to do is to find a decent load going back north. Because I think at the moment we're all concentrating on wanting to see Oregon, so I'm not going to go out west. We'll try and get straight back up to Oregon, which obviously will be another fairly significant length drive. Yeah, I have done a test with multiplayer. I am going to be joining up with the likes of Farmer Klein. I am going to join up. I'm in Delta Bravo Productions trucking company with Farmer Klein, and Delta does do some multiplayer nights. So I'll probably definitely join up with him because I'm part of that crew basically. His crew of employees. So we'll probably do some stuff there when we can get the timing right. And I will also sort of arrange on probably next weekend or the weekend after to do a multiplayer ATS and invite any of my subs and friends along to go for a bit of a drive for an hour or two. So yeah, we've done the first test of Truckers MP. I said with Farmer Klein the other day. We know it all works. Yeah, we'll do that in the near future for sure. The only problem with the multiplayer is no, Eustace isn't a bad word on Twitch. I haven't set that up yet. The only bad thing with Truckers MP, mind you, I mean, touch wood, when Klein and I played the other night, it didn't happen to us, but you get the occasional douchebag that wants to park on the hand-in points or the mission points, or that want to run you off the road or block you in or whatever else. That's the unfortunate side of it. But I mean, hey, that is what it is. It would be nice if you could set up your own multiplayer environment, and the fact that you host it and your friends can come on and join you, and you don't have to worry about other idiots, as we almost missed our turn off. So yeah, but anyway, we'll have a look at it. Oh, I was going through a lot quicker there than I expected. Thankfully, there was nothing there. Brakes work in the end. Oh, look, it does. I mean, I've seen some streams where you get some people that just want to go around griefing people and stuff like that. And that's, yeah, that's the big downside to it. But then, like, I've seen a couple of Tassie Nate's stream, for instance, recently, and him and his crew have generally never had a problem, or hadn't had so much of a problem. You get the occasional one out on the road and all that sort of stuff, but generally they've been okay, had a fairly good session. So I mean, yeah, I guess it just depends on when you're on, who's on. I mean, it could be like, we always tend to blame the young kiddies that are on, causing the mayhem, but then a lot of the times it's also adults that are just trying to be a pain in the ass because they can. But yeah, so I mean, it's just one of those things. One of the things where you take the pros and the cons. All right, so delivery is just around the corner. Got a bit of exploring to do here too. We haven't explored everything here. We haven't done much work down to San Diego then, obviously. I've got a recruitment agency there I haven't been into, fuel station, a service area. All right. So I was going to click that last trailer on the telegraph pole there for a second. It wasn't a recruiting agency. It was a new Peterbilt dealership. And for those that aren't aware, SCS, or one of the devs of SCS, has basically let slip, well, not let slip, but just told everyone that Volvo is coming very soon. There was, I think it was on their forums, they posted a picture of the Volvo. It was the SNL, I think, saying that it's coming, and that we should. I think it was, we should thank or blame their licensing people. So that should be good. It gives it another brand of truck to use. I mean, obviously licensing is always difficult for game producers, because obviously it's a way of money being drawn into the company. They'll actually ask for royalties or whatever else. So yeah, you can understand why it may take some time and all that sort of stuff. I mean, hence that may be part of the reason why it took so long for John Deere to come to the party with Farming Simulator. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of work that has to be done to get those licensing agreements in place. So so congrats to SCS, and we look forward to having a new truck. Oh, where am I going? Not going in there. Just up here. Yeah, you have to buy a whole pile of new trucks, Richard. And here we are. Alright. Now this will be interesting. I reckon we're going to get caught up here. I reckon it's just inevitable. Yeah. I don't think we're going to trigger it either. So what we're going to do is we're just going to skip it. Otherwise we'll be here for half an hour trying to work that out. Alright, so we got an excellent 801 miles driven. It took us 21 hours and 45 minutes. We used 109 litres or gallons of fuel. But we ended up making $57,000 and 3,200 XP. So almost to level 24. Alright, excellent. Let me have a look. Let's have a look at the return job markets. What we might do is we might call it there. We might do the return on another stream at some other point. Martin says, I installed ATS for MP today, but I'm having login problems with my login information. It tells me to set up MP URL information. I couldn't really help you with that. I'd have to go in and have a look, mate. I'd not so au fait with it myself. So we've got a job from San Diego to Burns. Some iron pipes. We'll have a look at external contracts. So from San Diego. Nothing to Oregon there. Up to Medford, which is where our garage is. That's not such a bad one. Or we can take some bitumen. That one's not quite as far. We get a little bit more money for the mile. So we'll probably come back and we'll probably end up doing that one, I think. So what we'll do is we'll accept that as our GPS delivery. And wait for it to load. And that will be it. So thank you very much for everyone for joining us here today. Hope you had some fun. You enjoyed it. Hopefully the stream has worked out. I'm going to go back and watch it once it's finished processing. Just to sort of see what the quality of it was like. But it would seem that it's probably not too bad. And we'll probably persevere with it for the moment and just sort of see how we go. So thanks to Farmer Klein, to Cy, to Robert, to Richard, to Martin. Thanks for our new subs. Thank you to those guys as well for also subbing over at Twitch. And until next time, no matter whether it's morning, afternoon, evening or night, look after yourselves and your loved ones. And we'll see you again very, very soon back here at DoughBoy Gaming. Take care. See you later. Bye.